Yeah, hey, Court, you're obviously wearing the 88 jersey there. Just put into perspective having this amazing comeback before, Demaryius is inducted into the Ring of Fame and honoring the 2015 Super Bowl champs.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a two-parter. So I would say, first part, as a team and where this team is going and the direction this team is going, it was a huge win for, to be able to see the guys fight the way they did from every aspect of the team, special teams, offense, defense. Things weren't looking the way that we wanted them to look offensively in the first half, and even in third quarter it was a little up and down. But to see the fight that was on that team, in that locker room and on that sideline, from like I said, every aspect of our team, it was, man, powerful. It was powerful. I tried to echo. I was echoing throughout the sideline. There's no flinch, and until that clock says 0-0-0-0, we got a chance. And you can see the fight. You can see the desire to want to be successful from the guys on the sideline. Second part of that, it was really cool to be able to celebrate, two different groups, but also they're kind of combined into one. The 2015 team, I had a chance to play with some of those guys my rookie year, and to hear the stories of how that team was and the things that they were able to accomplish and the confidence that those guys played with and the swagger that those guys played with, you can only aspire to be able to have the aura that those guys played with. Hearing how everybody talks about that 2015 team, the no-fly zone, Mr. Manning, that offense, the guys that were a part of that team, they were special from every aspect of that team. And so, to be able to celebrate those guys and see, to see them come in and celebrate 10 years of, 10 years post them winning the Super Bowl, you want to be able to have that opportunity to be able to walk forever. As one of our coaches says, you win a Super Bowl, you get to walk forever together. The other part to that, being able to celebrate DT, I talked to you guys earlier this week about how much he means to me and how much I cherish the relationship that I was able to have with him. Man, it was, it was an emotional day, and I had to reel myself back in a little bit and just not let my emotions outweigh the focus that I needed to go out here and perform. To drive in and see the impact that he had on this city was, it was an emotional thing, man. To see so many 88 jerseys, to know that everyone came out to not only just support the Denver Broncos, but there was a vast number of people that came to support the legacy that DT left with this organization. And, for us to be able to get a win on this day makes the day even that much more special. We don't want that there to be a dark cloud over something as special and as, I don't know, monumental in a sense for this organization. We don't want it to be a L, and especially the way that it was trending before the fourth quarter, we definitely didn't want it to be something like that. So to be able to, put together a fight the way we did and come out with a victory on such a special day, celebrating two iconic pieces of this organization, it was amazing. Sorry, that was a long answer for one question. I apologize.
But Court, you kind of touched on it off the top, but what's it say about your group that you're not getting anything going offensively, and to have the belief and then to be able to execute, especially with the way Bo's day was kind of going?
Yeah, shoots. I mean, kind of like I said, I tell the guys all the time, man, there's no flinch. There's no flinch, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but there's no flinch, and then until the clock says 0, we got a chance. And it may look like the light at the end of the tunnel is, football fields away. However, if you chop wood, carry wire, if you hit the tree in the same spot, eventually it's gonna fall. And so, we weren't clicking the way we needed to click, but we found that one spot in the tree and we kept hitting it. And it was encouraging to see everybody have a piece in that, from the run game to the O-line. Mike McGlinchey, man, I know you guys probably saw him get banged up. He got banged up, and man, this dude came back in and he understood the severity of where we were trying to go, and he came out there and played banged up, and, you know, it's things like that that, you know, get overlooked in the grand scheme of a win. But for myself, I get to look at that and say, you know, we have a lot of guys who understand where we're trying to go and also understand the selflessness that it takes to be able to have a great team. And so, you know, to be able to watch the guys go out there and perform the way they did and, you know, not flinch, it was highly encouraging.
Courtland, Sean said that the final offensive play that you guys nailed was put in installation on Saturday. Can you just kind of take me through, you know, having that happen and then sure enough on the last play of the game to kind of have that come to fruition?
Yeah, it's so, you know, we get told a lot that there's, you know, 6 or 7 plays that happen throughout the game that can impact the game, good or bad. You never know when those 6 or 7 plays are going to happen, but they're going to happen at some point in the game. Coach actually called me up to his office and was like, if we get into this situation in the game, I got to play, and it's going to work. You just trust me. And he's showing me clips of it, and it wasn't like he has such a unique mind when it comes to football. The play that he was showing me wasn't the play that we ran. It was just the concept and idea of what he envisioned. And, you know, so, like, I tell you all the time, man, to be able to sit and listen to Coach talk about ball, like, he just sees it in such a different, it's like a different language. Like, if he tried to explain it to someone, like, he would have to sit down and there would need to be a full breakdown of what he's thinking, because he sees it and then he just like, all right, this is how we're going to do it. And you just have to follow him. You got to just trust that it's going to be there. And for that to be for that play to be the last play before we kick the field goal, it's so crazy, because I'm thinking, you know, it might happen in the first quarter, it might happen in the second quarter, it might be an in-a-half situation, but for it to be the play that puts us in position to go kick the game-winning field goal, I mean, it's amazing. It's dope to be able to have a coach that, you know, you hear all the time, hey, it's never in the barn. With Coach, it's literally never in the barn. I've been a part of plays pit on Saturday. I've been a part of plays pit on Sunday morning. I've seen it all, you know, and every time he does it, you know, for the most part, those, I would say 99.8% of the time, those plays work, because he sees something and he's like, I can't not allow us to be able to do something I think is going to work.
Court, you obviously had that big catch, but Marvin had the contested one play before, and then on the prior drive, he had the long one down the sideline. Just his contributions today, how meaningful were those for this team?
Yeah, I mean, shoes. I tell you guys all the time how much I love not just this team, but my room, man. I think they, you know, we don't get I feel like we don't get the recognition that some other teams may get, because we don't have the big names and everyone in our room isn't making, you know, these crazy contracts and stuff. But, you know, everybody plays their part and they do it to the highest level that they possibly can. Watching Troy Franklin become the player that he's becoming and making the plays that he's making, watching Marv go from guys just thinking that he's a specialist to a guy that's contributing heavily into our offense, having Trent be somebody that comes in and he does his job. He may not be getting all the targets, but he comes in and does his job at a very high and efficient way. Pat Bryant is a young guy that gets a lot of stuff thrown at him, but he doesn't flinch. He never goes in and complains about, oh, you guys are putting too much on my plate. He's just like, how can I be, you know, a better version of myself for this room and for each other? And so, you know, I think that our room is special, man. It's really encouraging to be able to watch those guys go out and, you know, perform the way they perform week in and week out in practice, but also week in and week out on Sundays. We got a special room, and I love those guys, man. I'm proud of those guys, man. Everybody contributed today, and I think that's the part that makes me happy, is the fact that they all contributed today and they all had a hand in the pot of us being able to get this victory.
Court, when you, going back to the last play, when that call comes in, do you have any time in your mind to think, oh, we put that in yesterday, or have any thought, or it just is like, yeah? Not
at all. It came in, and I was like, well, he sees it. I mean, because, you know, he understands that, you know, all right, like I said, he's a mad scientist when it comes to plays and film. He was like, all right, you know, if we get across the 50 and it's second down and there's this amount of time left, it's 95% chance we're going to get this coverage. And so, like, I think there was a timeout or something happened, like an injury timeout or something, and the play comes in, Bo comes over, he tells me, I'm like, cool, it should work, It should work based upon what we know. And so when I motioned over and I saw I was like, dang, this joint could work. And so it's just about going and making a play at that point. And I told the coach on the sideline, like, hey, look, things aren't going the way we need them to go. I got us. I got us. However that is, if you need me to go in and get blocks to free other people up, if you need me to go make a play on the sideline, if you need me to go make a play across the middle of the field, whatever it may be, I got us. Allow some of the pressure to be taken off of Bo, to be taken off some of the rest of the guys on the offense, and I'll take it. I'll burden it. You know what I'm saying? Let's go win this game. And it was dope to watch everybody contribute, man. It was dope to be able to watch and be a part of such a non-discouraged group of guys that went out there and just laid it all out on the line.